Hey everyone, it's Alice, and I'm here today with my March unhaul. So if you've watched this channel earlier in the year, then you'll know that my challenge for 2022 was to unhaul more books than I hauled each month. I managed to haul 60 books in March, so I'm here today with a 61 book unhaul for you. I'll be honest, I'm hoping that I don't buy many books in April or get given many books as birthday presents, because it's getting harder to unhaul things. I'm not sure whether I'm completely happy with some of these. I am thinking about saving them. I don't think I'm going to, because I'm trying to be stricter with myself, and we do have a lot of books coming in that I'm more interested in than some of these. But let me know down in the comments, as normal, if there are any of these books that you absolutely loved that you think I should save, then let me know and I'll think about it. But most of them I think I'm pretty happy with getting rid of. So without further ado, let's do some unhaul. The first book I'm unhauling is Fury by Elizabeth Miles. I bought this one because it had a gorgeous cover. First book in a series. I don't actually know if the second and third book ever got released. God, it's a bit dusty because it's been living at my parents' house. I don't know if the second or third books ever got released, but this one is described as a supernatural thriller. There's a girl who wants to date the guy that she has a thing for, but he's dating her best friend, so then he has a secret. It seems very YA, very stereotypical YA. I am low-key still interested in it because I want to know what the secret is, but I don't know if I'm just going to check out some reviews on Goodreads for this one, because as I said, I don't know if the second and third book ever got published. I don't remember seeing Elizabeth Miles' name anywhere, so I don't think these are particularly well received, even if they did all get published, so I'm happy letting this one go. I'm also letting go Death is a Welcome Guest by Louise Welsh. This is the fourth book in a series. I didn't know when I bought it. It sounded interesting. It's a proof copy, and it says the dead are lost to us, our duty is survival. I've never seen any of Louise Welsh's other books in charity shops. They're not on the library app. I can't get hold of them easily, so I'm going to let this one go, and then if I spot them in the future, then I might pick them up. I then have three books by Andrea Kramer, which are Rise, Wolfsbane, and this gorgeous Arc of Nightshade, which I found it in a charity shop, and it was ridiculously cheap. I can't even remember how much, but it's very, very pretty, so I'm going to see if I can trade this to anybody, because somebody might love this series and be looking for this one to complete their collection, so I would rather it go to a really good home. But if I'm honest, these are Wolfie books. I'm semi-interested still, but I don't really read Wolf books anymore, and this is the first book, this is the second book, this is the novella that comes between the second and the third, I think, so it's a bit of a mess. I don't have the whole series. It's also the font is ridiculously small, but every single chapter has a whole page that is just wasted, so it's mostly because of the formatting on these ones that I'm not interested, because that's 36 pages that are just completely blank, and also every single chapter starts on a new page on this side, and then the page afterwards is blank too, so that's 36, that's 70 pages, maybe 90 pages of this book that are completely blank, so I don't need that waste of space on my shelf, even though these are really, really gorgeous covers. Dang it. I'm also getting rid of Goose by Dawn Porter. This is the second book in a series, the first one being Paper Aeroplanes. I believe they're both on the library app, and I'm still interested in them, especially Paper Aeroplanes, because it was shortlisted for the YA Book Prize in 2015, I think, and that's the only shortlist that I haven't read the entirety of, so I will be reading it eventually, but I'm just not really interested in this one anymore, and I've had it for so long and I haven't picked it up, and where it's so short and I still haven't picked it up, I don't think I'm going to. We also have Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters and Android Karenina. Sean has read this one and didn't really enjoy it, and Android Karenina, if I'm going to read a Anna Karenina book, I think I'll probably just read the original, because reading a retelling when I haven't read the original seems pretty pointless. We have kept Pride and Prejudice and Zombies to read, but just not interested in the rest of these. I'm sad about this one because I have looked out for the rest of this series multiple times, but I've just never spotted any of them, and this is Shadow Air by Rochelle Mead. This is the fourth book in the series. It still really interests me. I've just never seen any of the others anywhere. It's very dusty from my parents' house. This is what happens when you just store your books in reusable bags in corners when you move out. But yeah, I haven't managed to find the rest of these in charity shops or in normal shops, and they aren't cheap on Kindle, so I'm not going to read them anytime soon. Possibly once I've read Vampire Academy and some of the other Rochelle Mead books that I own, I might think about purchasing this series if I enjoy those ones. but I'm going to let this one go for now. I'm also getting rid of The Salem Witch Society by Kate N. Shields. Most famous witch hunt in history is about to begin. Years later, a woman is found savagely murdered, her body arranged in the death pose of a witch. Someone or something is reviving the terror of the notorious Salem witch hunts. It sounds interesting, but it is historical, and based off of the reviews that I looked up on Goodreads, it's actually quite boring. So I think I would rather get rid of this and read other witchy books that have better reviews. I also have All These Things I've Done by Gabriella Zevin. This is the first book in a trilogy. I don't own the other two. They're also all available from the library, so if I want to read them, I can read them that way. We have Flight of a Starling by Lisa Heathfield. I won a set of Lisa Heathfield's 3 novels, but I already had this book personalised and signed because I'd met Lisa Heathfield at Yalk, so I'm going to let this one go. We have The Portable Veblen by Elizabeth Mackenzie. I mean, it interests me because it's like, is getting married even a remotely reasonable idea in the 21st century? And that is something that definitely interests me, and the scribble is made up of the words maybe, yes, no. So I'm still like low-key interested in it, but I think the only reason I bought this in Poundland for one thing. It was brand new in Poundland, so if it was already in Poundland and it had only just come out, then it couldn't be that good. But it has a squirrel on the front cover, and I like squirrels, and I've never picked it up, and this was shortlisted for the Women's Prize back in 2016. So if I haven't read it in 6 years, I don't think I'm going to. We have Half-Lives by Sarah Grant. I've actually read the start of this one and I didn't enjoy it, and I've seen really, really bad reviews for the rest of it, so this one's going because I just don't think it's the right book for me. Love Aubrey by Suzanne Fleur. She will make you laugh. She will make you cry. She will make you smile. Aubrey will stay with you forever. It sounds interesting, but also really, really upsetting. She's like writing letters to her grandmother. And like, I'm low-key still interested in it, but there's just something about this one that just doesn't seem like it's something that's really to my taste anymore. So I'm going to get rid of it. I might regret it, but it's fine. I also have Saturday by Ian McEwan. I unhauled a lot of Ian McEwan last month because I basically bought loads of his books because I was being pretentious and I thought I liked literary fiction, and then I realised I don't, and Ian McEwan is not that great of an author, so I've just given up and gotten rid of them all, and this was one that was still somehow hanging around my parents' house. We also have The Dolls by Kiki Sullivan. I'm tempted to keep this because of the gorgeous hot pink sprayed edges, but there's no point in keeping it just for the sprayed edges. I'm not interested in it anymore. Boys want them, girls want to be them, someone wants them dead. It sounds like something I've read before, it sounds like something I'll read again. And it is really pretty, but no. Be strict with yourself, Alice, be strict. If I wasn't going to be strict, then I shouldn't have hauled so many books this month. We've got Guardian of the Gate by Michelle Zink. I actually have the other 2 books in this series somewhere, so I will be unhauling those at some point. I'm like low-key still interested. It's like prophecy turning generations of sisters against each other, and her twin will stop at nothing to keep her from ending it. So her twin is obviously like happy with the fact that they're against each other. So the familial relationships in this one interest me, but again, I've had it for so long, and I think if I was going to read it, I would have by now. We have Hugging the Rock by Susan Taylor Brown. I have a feeling I've actually read this one. It's about her mum runs away from home and she retreats into herself, and she grows close to her dad and understands the truth of why her mum left. Like, it interests me, but again, like, it's also written in verse, so it's going to be a very, very quick read. But I think a novel that's written in verse that is also this short, I can't imagine it satisfying me the way that I want it to if it's trying to have such big discussions. We also have Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma. If you haven't heard of Forbidden, I will be surprised because it was all the rage a few years ago. It is about incest, and it's a brother and sister who fall in love with each other. And I'm still like low-key interested again, but I just don't think that I'll enjoy it. And I think there's a reason why I bought it and then I kept putting off reading it, and I think that's because I'm not really interested in it, but everybody was going on about it, so I bought it anyway. But let's be honest, it was only £1 from a charity shop, so I didn't really waste that much money on it. We also have Hallowed and Unearthly by Cynthia Hand. These are the first 2 books in a series. I don't have the third one. As you can see, I got them on 2 for £5. She's part angel, and something happens. She has terrifying visions of a forest fire, and she's got to save a beautiful boy. It's like paranormal romance, very basic shit, I think. And I don't really hear people talking about these anymore, so I don't think they had a huge impact. And I've still got enough paranormal romance if I want to read any without having an uncompleted series on my shelf. I then have Shift by Jerry Smith Reddy. I unhauled Shade a couple of months ago, and I knew I had the second one sitting around my house somewhere, but I couldn't find it. I did, So that's also getting on hold. I Have Nothing to Fear by Karen Rose. I unhauled all of my Karen Rose books a couple of months ago because I've given them all to my mum. So I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm going to give it to her, see if she's more interested in it, because she's the one who reads more crime than I do. So I don't need this on my shelves. The same can be said for Donna Leon's Doctored Evidence. This was given to me by somebody who lived near to my parents because she knew I loved books and she really likes Donna Leon. But this is actually the 13th book in the series. So I'm going to take her recommendation and I'm going to read the first one and see whether I like it. But I don't need to own the 13th one when I haven't read the first 12. I also have a proof of The Anchoress by Robin Cadwallader. This is set in the 11th century. And I'm not good at reading historical fiction, so I don't think I'm going to like it. Mostly, again, it had a bird on the cover, so I got it from the charity shop. And it was a proof, so I got it from the charity shop. But it explores the relationship between the mind, body and spirit in medieval England. And I don't really care. I then have New Moon and Breaking Yawn by Stephanie Mayo. These are parodies of Twilight, New Moon and Breaking Dawn, to be specific. I read the first one and I enjoyed it enough. It wasn't really that funny. It was kind of meh and I didn't really get why everybody was going on about it. I found Breaking On, I think it was £1 in Waterstones, brand new, so I grabbed it and then I never read it, and I have no inclination to reread the first one and I'm not interested in reading the second one, so off they go. I then have The Madness of Mr. Darcy by Alexa Adams. I was interested in this one because it's meant to be a continuation of Pride and Prejudice. It's like a fan fiction continuation of Mr. Darcy's story. No. Yeah, Mr. Darcy is Pride and Prejudice, I think. Yeah, it's definitely Pride and Prejudice. Yeah, it is. Why am I questioning that? But the main problem I have with this one is the fact that on the front cover it's Mr. Darcy with a Y, and then on the spine it's Mr. Darcy with an EY, and this is self-published, and like the author hasn't even been able to make sure that they spelled the book's name correctly on it, and it's annoyed me since I got it. I won this from a competition on Goodreads, and I was super pumped to read it. And then it annoyed me because it wasn't read, like it wasn't spelled correctly on the spine, and I've never picked it up, and now it's getting on hold without being read. So thank you Goodreads, but no thank you. I then have Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. This is the one I'm regretting the most because I am still really interested in the Falling Kingdoms series, but it's like 9 books long and this is the only one that I have. It's the only one I've found in any of the charity shops. I actually found this in the London Library, in Victoria Library for 10p, I think. And I bought it and I was planning on reading it, and then I thought, I'll wait until I get the others, and then I still haven't gotten any of the others. I've had this for 5 years. And I'm like still interested, but I don't know whether it would be easier to just wait and see if one of the book boxes does special editions of these and then purchase them, because I know I'm going to love it. I just don't want to start a series without having the rest, and I don't want to spend like a ridiculous amount of money trying to get hold of them when normally I just pick up secondhand copies from charity shops. So I might change my mind on that one, but that one's going for now. We have The Crowfield Curse by Pat Walsh. I unhauled the sequel to this one last month because I'm not interested in rereading the first one. I found the first one now. I'm still not interested in rereading it, so off it goes. We have Now Is Good by Jenny Downham. I loved this book. I read the edition of Before I Die. She's 16, she has cancer. It's like a list of the things she wants to do before she dies, and it's really, really sad and really beautiful, and I love it. I just don't love this cover, and I don't feel any inclination to reread it. I might keep an eye out, and if I find a copy of Before I Die, like the original cover, in the charity shop, then I might pick it up. But I don't feel like I need to have this on my shelf. I also have The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton. This is one of the vintage Red Spine classics. I was trying to collect all of these, and then I realised that was ridiculous because there's hundreds of them, and to be honest, I've read some of them and they haven't impressed me, and The Age of Innocence was one of them. I did not enjoy this book at all. I read it on my Kindle, and I think I literally deleted the copy when I finished with it because I didn't like it that much. So I don't feel any need to have a book that really irritates me just because it's in an edition of books that I like. Especially as I'm starting to move on to getting more of the clothbound classics, so I will probably end up unhauling most of my vintage Red Spines as I buy the clothbound classic editions. So I'm like upgrading this, effectively, because eventually, if I see it in the Red Spine, it has a clothbound classic edition, I think, and if I see it in that edition, then I'll get it even if I don't like it, because I like those editions, but there's no justification here, it's just going. We have Eternal by PC Cast, which is also really frickin' dusty. It's short stories by a bunch of... Oh, Rachel Kane, though. It's short stories by a bunch of paranormal romance authors. You've got Claudia Gray, you've got Lily St. Croix, you've got Nancy Holder, Heather Brewer, whose books I didn't enjoy, Jerry Smith-Reddy, whose book I've just unhauled. I mean, I'm tempted to keep this just for the Rachel Kane short story, but I could just rip it out. Controversial. I will have a proper look into it and see where in the series that story sits, because I haven't started the Morganville Vampires series yet, but I'm still interested in it, and I haven't realised there was a Morganville short story in here, but I think I'll probably end up getting rid of that one. I have Wise Children by Angela Carter. Funnily enough, I have the vintage red spine edition of this, and I have this edition that has a pink spine, so I'm getting rid of this one to keep the red spine, even though I'm starting to get rid of my red spines. There is no justification, there is no kind of logic to my classic collecting, but I don't need 2 copies of this. I haven't read it yet. I like this copy more, but it's also quite beaten up and the other copy's in perfect condition, so we're just going to get rid of this one. I have The Host by Stephanie Meyer. Loved it. Absolutely loved this book from start to finish. I've read it twice, but the second and third book don't ever seem like they're going to be released, and I don't really like the cover of this one. So if they do ever release books 2 and 3, they're likely to have new covers anyway. But this is like 14 years old and it doesn't have any sequels yet, so I think I can get rid of it, even though I loved it. And then if it does end up being expanded into the rest of the series, I can repurchase them then. We have I Am Number 4 by Pittacus Law. Again, don't like the movie tie-in cover. Sean thinks he has a copy of this somewhere, and Mum's not really interested in it anymore, and Mum and I bought this together to read. So I'm gonna get rid of this one. Keep an eye out and see if I can find like a non-movie tie-in cover. Maybe. But like, I've got a feeling it was £1 because it had the blue sticker on it. So again, I don't have the rest of the series either, so might as well get rid of it and then see if I can find like matching editions later in the series. I have Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Similar reason for The Age of Innocence. This is the red spine edition, and I don't like Jane Eyre. I didn't like it at all. I've got the clothbound classic edition. I will be keeping it because it's a clothbound classic. I've got the edition that I read at university that I annotated, so I'll be keeping that for the memories of my time at university, but I don't need 3 copies of a book that I didn't enjoy. I have Wake by Amanda Hockin. Not really interested in mermaids anymore, and I'm pretty sure I've got another book in this series somewhere in the house, so I might be getting rid of those if I can find them. They will be around here somewhere. And then I have a whole ass stack of Charlene Harris books. We have Dead as a Doornail, Dead Reckoning, Dead Ever After, Deadlocked, and Club Dead. I read the first Sookie Stackhouse book and I gave it 2.5 stars. I didn't really enjoy it. We planned on reading the second one just to see if I wanted to carry on with the series, but it's been like over a year and we haven't read the second one yet, and I've just decided to unhaul the series. This isn't the complete series. I have more of these somewhere. I just can't find them. So again, the rest of these will be popping up in a couple of months. I've just got to reach across to get my last stack. I have Tess of the D'Urbervilles by Thomas Hardy. I have the clothbound classic version of this one, and I don't feel a particular affinity towards this cover. I have V is for Vengeance by Sue Grafton. I've given the rest of my Sue Grafton novels to my mum anyway, so I might as well give her this one. I have Crooked Heart by Lisa Evans. This was a proof copy. I picked it up because it was a proof and because it was purple, and I love purple. And this is about the Blitz. Someone getting evacuated. Oh, there are people making money out of the war. So that sounds interesting enough. But I know that my friend Dennis, when I worked at the library, he did a book club that read this book, and I was sat covering the desk while he was doing the book club meeting, and all you could hear was these little old ladies bitching about how bad this book was. So if they didn't think it was very good, I don't think I'm going to think it's very good, because I don't like historical fiction and I'm not really interested in war stories. So yeah, it's going to go. Oh, there's the actual cover underneath. But yeah, it's going to go. I have A Man Who Is Not a Man by Thando Coloranza. This is an unsolicited proof copy that I was sent from a publisher, and I thank them a lot for sending it to me, but it's been out for nearly a year. I'm still not really interested in reading it. I don't know why I got sent it, because I haven't requested any books like this from them before. It was like, it's under 200 pages, so I was tempted to pick it up anyway, but I just think, because it's not the kind of book that I normally read, I'll probably end up having an absolute struggle to get through it, so it doesn't seem worth forcing myself. but hopefully somebody will be able to pick this up who will absolutely love it. We then have a little stack of Goosebumps books. These are ones that we have 2 copies of. As you can see, our Goosebumps collection is quite voluminous. We keep buying like all the copies that we see in charity shops because they're in like 50p each in our local charity shops, so we'll buy all the ones that we see. Sometimes we get home and we realise that we've already got some copies. Sometimes I find another bag of Goosebumps books hidden at my parents' house and I realise that we've got more Goosebumps than we thought. But these ones are all ones that we have multiple copies of, so we're getting rid of these editions. And those are Bad Hair Day, The Haunted School, Let's Get Invisible, The Werewolf of Fever Swamp, The Werewolf of Fever Swamp, and The Barking Ghost. And these are all by R.L. Stein. We might end up just like giving these to the babies because the babies want to read these ones. But obviously they need to read them with parental supervision because they're on the bookshelves. So it might be a case that the babies can just have these, and if they get torn to shreds because they get too excited about reading them and they love the ghosts and the wolves and stuff, it doesn't matter as much. But we'll see whether they're interested in them. We have On the Road by Jack Kerouac. I have a copy of this which is a nicer edition, and this was Sean's edition and he didn't mind me getting rid of it. We have the Black Library Celebration 2019. This has a couple of chapters of the start of books to promote them in the Black Library collection from Warhammer. And Sean's not interested in reading this anymore. He would rather just get the books and read the whole thing. So, your next read. Oh, maybe it's not chapters. Yeah, it is. It is chapters. I don't know why I was getting confused on that. But yeah, because it's only chapters and books, we could just buy the full books and read those instead. And I think Sean said he's actually already got a few of the books that are in this collection. So there's no point in having this on our shelves. We have Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Again, I have a nicer edition. Sean doesn't mind getting rid of this one. And it also really annoys him that it's got like this shorter cover that like pops over the top. I actually think that's pretty funky. Because underneath it says, shoot all the blue jays you want if you can hit them. But remember, it's a sin to kill a mockingbird. I think that would have been a better cover. I don't know why they decided to go with like a normal cover when they could have just gone with this one. But yeah, I have a better copy. I also have a red spine copy though, so they've obviously printed 2 editions of this one. To be honest, I've seen that. I'm tempted to just like rip off the front cover and keep it. But no, we've said we're getting rid of it, so we're getting rid of it. We have Cell 7 by Kerry Drury. I somehow ended up with 2 copies of this. I'm not sure how. One is a proof, so I'll probably keep the proof and get rid of the finished copy. I'll see whether it's got any non-standard bits. It looks like it has interviews, so I'll see whether those are formatted correctly in the proof compared to the finished copy, and then I'll decide. But I don't have the rest of the books in the series, so I am tempted to just get rid of that completely. We'll see how I go. We have Let It Snow by John Green, Lauren Miracle and Maureen Johnson. Didn't enjoy this at all. Read this a couple of years ago when Ezra had just been born and we struggled to get through it. We both thought it was freaking awful. John Green's story was the worst one and John Green's story was the one we were most interested in. Maureen Johnson's story was good, but Lauren Miracle's story was also a mess. So no thank you. And last but not least, we have The Fires of Heaven by Robert Jordan, because we managed to haul this exact same copy in our local charity shop in perfect condition. Like, the spine hasn't been broken at all, the pages are completely unclear and, like, completely clear and unblemished, and this copy that we bought on eBay is, like, water damaged and really broken down. We just wanted all of the covers to match. So now we can get rid of this one, have our nice fancy copy, and we've also got a spare copy to read, that we can then unhaul when we've read it, so that we still don't need to read our fancy copy. Collectors. And there you have it. That is 61 books. That is 61 books that we're getting rid of. As you can tell, I'm a little bit like, on some of them. I'm really glad to get rid of a few of these. I think I need to just clear out a lot of my old paranormal romance stuff, because like I've got a lot of the kind of YA paranormal romances from way early, like back when Twilight was first published and everybody was writing like vampires and werewolves and angels and all of that stuff. I have so many completed series that I've either only read a couple of books of or I can't remember anything about them, and I think I need to just be strict with myself and clear some of those out, because that would be a lot more space. I'm proud of myself for getting rid of the Sookie Stackhouse books, the Southern Vampire Mysteries, because I really didn't enjoy the first one, and forcing myself through the second one would have been a waste. So I'm glad that I finally made the decision to shift those on. But I'm also still a bit like, FOMO. What if I loved it? What if I got to the end and I just thought it was like the best thing I'd ever read? But nothing's going to beat Red Rising, so it's fine. However, I am gonna actually haul the book for you now as well, because Sean was like, do you want to open your box on camera? And I was like, no, I don't want to open my box on camera because it's an unhaul, but I still haven't opened my box and it's right here and I want to open my box. So this does mean we are officially hauling one book in April so far, so I already need to think of something else to unhaul. Oops. Let's hope I don't haul anything else for a while. But this, hopefully, will be a very gorgeous book to show you. And I am very excited about it because it is very well wrapped up in its bubble wrap. It's actually the third book in a series I've really enjoyed the first two of. Because it's Crimson Rain by Amelia Wenzhou. Ooh, it's got the more blood. The blood has increased dramatically on each of these books, which I love. It is signed on the end papers. It is completely blank on the cover. I had a feeling it had like stuff on the cover, but it doesn't, which it's fine. I don't mind. But yeah, this is the third book in the series. I just love the designs on these. The fact that it's like blank at the bottom and red on the top. I'm really excited. I've got it out on the library app at the moment and I'm planning on reading it very, very soon. I didn't love Blood Air, but I really, really loved Red Tigress, and I think this might be the best book in the series for me. And it's here. So thank you, William Crate, for sending these out. And yay! I'm so glad that they did matching editions for all of them, because I think like that blood splatter, that like dripping is just so eye-catching, especially when you've got them all lined up. But yes, first book that we're hauling for April at the end of our March unhaul. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please, as I said, let me know if there are any of these books that you would have saved, if you think that we're making mistakes on any of them, if you think, why did you even buy that book in the first place, if you just want to call me out for being somebody who buys too many books and doesn't read them and then just shifts them on and feels sad about them going, you can also just call me out for that. I will not be mad. We post videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, so we will see you again in a couple of days with another video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you would like to, because oh my god, we're nearly on 700 subscribers and that just absolutely blows my tiny little mind. I don't know where you've all come from, but I'm so thankful to all of you, and thank you for joining us here on the Bumbling Blogger. We'll see you again soon. Bye! This is also dusty from my parents. Oh my god, I just kicked the microphone. Let's not with that.